All right, Facebook, we are live here in Studio V with Victor Antonio here. I'm going to wait for a few people to jump on board. We're going to talk about sales, some real cool stuff. So check out the description right there or right there and just kind of read through that. So we're going to talk about today something called the perfect voicemail. And before I start talking, I'll wait a little bit. I see Paco's online. Paco, what's happening, man? Hope you're doing well. Paco's out of Chicago. I know he's freezing down there. Brr, right? Gurmit, did I get that right? Type in if I got that right. Gurmit Chawla. Where are you from, Gurmit? Tell me if I got that right. Dwayne Huff in the house. Well, that's it. Dwayne's in the house. Let's just kind of leave. That's it. All right. Paco, man, how's it over there? How cold it is over there? Gurmit says I got it right. Gurmit, where you from? Let me know if you're from, if you live in the U.S. or where you're from. Let me know where you're from. Again, I'll wait a little longer. And we're going to talk about the perfect voicemail. So again, read the description so you can see. Gurmit is out of New Jersey. I'm sorry to hear that, man. I'm really sorry to hear that. Just kidding, right? Anyway, so you got Oria Nitescu from Romania. Wow. All right. Dwayne, man. Pleasure. You're the man. 14 degrees with wind chill in Chicago. For those of you who don't know, I'm originally from Chicago. So, Paco, I feel your pain, man. So anyway, this is going to be a short conversation live. I'm going to talk about a new program I have called The Perfect Voicemail. And for those of you who are not aware, I have an online academy called the Sales Mastery Academy.us. So the link's right there in the description, salesmasteryacademy.us. And this is one of the newer programs that I've put on the platform. So I think now we have over 26 courses, and it's about 300 plus videos. So go check it out. I've lowered the price, so it's really reasonable for anybody to jump on the platform. Whether it's 3 months, 6 months to a year, you can decide. Sebastian Margarito Villanueva Reyes. What a name. What a name. Do you use all three names, Margarito? You probably do, right? So anyway, all right, let's get started here, folks, because I know you're busy and I got to get back to doing other things. By the way, super excited. My book is coming out soon, and so we're trying to work out the publishing issue right now, but I'm super excited. It's a book about sales and then artificial intelligence, those two together. It's a very unique book. There's no other book on the market like that as of today. So I think you're going to enjoy the read. And now, again, I'll blast something out. So the perfect voicemail. One of the questions I often get is, Victor, how do you get people to call you back? How do you get people to call you back? And it's a very good question because in today's market, it's tougher than ever. One, to get through to the right person. And even if you get to the right person, they're probably going to shoot you to voicemail. And when they shoot you to voicemail, guess what's going to happen? You're going to have to leave a message that's compelling enough for them to want to call you back. And so the question again is, Victor, how do you leave a compelling voicemail? How do you structure a compelling voicemail? So in this live episode here, what we're going to do is I'm going to give you the format. And then we're going to go through a couple of sample scripts just to give you an idea. And then again, I can't do the whole course. It's on the Sales Mastery Academy, but at least this will kickstart you. So if you're having a problem with people calling you back, guess what? Let me see. Oria says your academy together with Cardone University are the best on the market. Enrolled on both. And that is right. I'm so glad you brought that up. If you have Cardone University, my man Grant Cardone, you can also get access to my university. So whether you go to Grant, you go through me, either way, I get paid, which is a good way, right? That's what we're in sales for. But anyway, he's got great programs. Ours combined together, I think, make a super program. And so I'm really happy to be on his university. So again, go to my website, go to Grant's website. Great stuff all the way around. All right, so let's jump into this. First question is, you get the voicemail. How do you structure a voicemail, right? Because isn't that the tough part? So, out of curiosity, can you guys type in, whether you have your scripts written out before you leave a voicemail? Go ahead, do that right now. Do that right now. Go ahead and type something in that says, yes, Victor, I have scripts. And then if you have scripts, tell me how many scripts you actually have. So go ahead. I'm gonna take a moment to do this right now. Go ahead. Go ahead and write that in. I want to know how many people actually, one, have voicemail scripts written out, and two, how many of those do you have? So when you're calling, how well prepared are you? My man, Ivan Garcia Hidalgo has joined us. Hey, Ivan, Happy New Year to you, all you folks. By the way, we're kicking off the new year, so that's great. Also, what else? So again, I'm waiting for some responses. And again, when I talk to most salespeople and I ask them this questions, do you have your scripts written out? The majority say, no. Like Gourmet just said, you're honest, Gourmet. You say, no voicemail script. And so what typically happens, you pick up the phone and you call, and then you got to kind of figure it out what you're going to have to say. And it's interesting because depending on whether you're in a good mood or a bad mood will determine what voicemail you leave. So one of the things about having a script written down is that you don't have to think about it. Now, I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. You say, Victor, but if I write out the voicemail script, it'll sound too mechanical. Well, no, when you practice it often, it sounds very natural when it comes out of your mouth. So I'm going to help you with that, but I do want you to have that. Aurea says she usually has 4 to 5, depending on who she contacts. Bravo. Excellent, right? All right, so let's go through this real quick. Let's go through the perfect voicemail format. And if you want to write, now would be a good time. If not, just rewatch this webinar. Now, the first one is the greet. Now, when you're greeting somebody over the phone, now again, you're greeting the voicemail, right? A lot of us tend to say, hi, this is Victor Antonio with ABC, with the Selinger Group, blah, 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 blah. Well, I think that's a mistake. I think the first thing you should start out with is their name. So, for example, if I'm calling my friend Ivan, and I don't know who he is, but I know his first name is Ivan, I'm going to say, hi, Ivan, right? Boom, hi, Ivan. Not Mr. Hidalgo, not Mr. Garcia, not this is Victor Antonio with the Selinger Group. I say, hi, Ivan. The other day, somebody left me a voicemail just like that. They said, hey, Victor, and I'm going, and I'm trying, immediately my brain runs to, do I know this person? Because I didn't have their mobile ID on my cellular phone. And I'm going, but immediately that's what happens when you use somebody's first name, immediately it triggers this familiarity. So on the greeting, the first thing I want you to do is, hi, first name. Now, again, I know. We've been taught to be very respectful and call the person Mr. or Mrs. I get it. But I'm telling you, there's something about calling somebody by their first name, because what's the sweetest sound you like to hear? Your name on somebody else's lips, right? We love when people say our names, whether we like it or not, unless you have a horrible name. Well, that's another story. So again, that's the first part, right? How do you greet? Hi, Victor, whoever you're calling, right? The second part is the credibility piece. Remember, sometimes you're only going to have maybe 3 to 5 seconds to build instant credibility. So let's get to the credibility piece, right? So I'm going to just use Ivan here. I'm going to say, hi, Ivan. Then the credibility says, I work with companies like yours in this industry. So for example, let's say that Ivan works in the telecommunications industry. I'm going to say, hi, Ivan. I work with companies in the telecom industry, right? Immediately, there's 2 things. 1, familiarity. I call him Ivan. 2, now he says this person understands my industry right away. So that's the second part, okay? You got to get into it right away. You don't have time to do a long dissertation. You got to get to it right away, okay? Step number 3, you got to give them a reason. So I'll do it slowly. Greeting, that's the first step. Credibility, I work with companies in your industry. Name that industry, the telecom industry, right? 3, what is the reason for you calling? So in other words, the reason I'm calling is, and then that's where you give them the reason. Why are you calling them? The reason I'm calling is, okay, and it's got to be something that they really care about, something that really hits that pain point, okay? Something that really means something to them. Now notice that just in doing this, in those 3 steps, I've taken up maybe about 3 to 5 seconds. So immediately I'm in there already. Greeting, familiarity, first name. Credibility, I work with companies in your industry, and here's the reason I'm calling. Or maybe it's a referral. I can say, look, hi, Ivan. I work with companies in the telecom industry, and John asked me to give you a call. 3 steps right there, right? So greeting, credibility, I work with companies in your industry, telecom, and John asked me to give you a call. If I can do that within the first 3 to 5 seconds, I'm telling you, the person's listening to me now, right? Because they're going, wait a minute, I know John. This guy's familiar. He's in our industry. Boom. That's almost like triangulation, okay? So greeting, hi, first name. Credibility, you work in that industry. I work with companies in this industry. 3, reason. Number 4, you need that attention grabber. Man, you need to grab them like that. You know what I mean? You need to grab them. You need an attention grabber. What is your attention grabber? Why should I listen to you? That's what they're thinking. You got 5 seconds. Okay, I'm kind of open because I kind of know you. I know John, and maybe you understand my business better than I do. What's your big claim? What would be your attention grabber? Now, let me slow down right here. I want you to type in the comments, what do you think if you were calling me and I was your ideal customer? If I'm your ideal customer, what would be your attention grabber with me? Go ahead, write it in there. Go ahead, type it in there. I want to see, I'll wait a moment. I want to see, again, what your attention grabber is. What's your big claim? What's your piece of insight? What is that one thing that makes them go, huh, I didn't know that? What is your thing? What is your big claim? Write that in, type it in. Because if you don't have an attention grabber, then guess what? Immediately, they're going to tune off. For example, if I'm calling about sales training, I work with companies like you to help you reduce your sales cycle by 35%, which means by 3 to 4 weeks on average. Well, that's value to a customer. That'll grab their attention. Within the first month, we can help you increase your sales by 15 to 20% minimum. Boom, attention grabber. That's about money. Remember, I have something called the value trinity. If you can help a company increase their revenue, reduce their costs, or expand their market share, they're listening to you. So imagine if your attention grabber is about how can I help you increase your revenue? And by how much? By 30%, 40%? How about if I can help you reduce your costs? By how much? That would grab my attention and say, look, we help companies like you in the telecom business reduce their blank cost by X amount, whatever percentage it may be. That grabs my attention. Get the idea? So again, what is it? What is your attention grabber? And if you don't have an attention grabber, you have no business picking up that phone. Okay? That's the reality. Because that's the value people are looking for. How can you help me save money? How can you help me psychologically? How can you help me mentally? How can you help me physically? How can you help me financially? How can you help me increase my revenue, reduce my costs, expand my market share? What can you do for me? That's what they want to know. What can you do for me? So Ivan has a comment. I've been able to save companies like yours with cost of acquisition by opening doors at the executive level. Now, if that's what you want them to get, in other words, I can help you get the right connections, that's Ivan's big claim. I can help you get access. And then again, you can really tighten that one up, Ivan. You can probably say, look, most people can't get access to the C-suite. We've been able to do this, whatever, within certain days. Whatever it may be, we can polish that up. But I love that one. Madi Noor says, I can help you expand your online marketing. Madi, now let's go with that one for a second, Madi. That one is more of something tangible. What I want you to do, Madi, is put more on it. You know what? If you just say, I can help you to expand your online marketing, what does that mean to me? Expand what? So what can you add to that, Madi? By the way, help Madi out. What can you add to that would grab my attention? By how much? How can you help me expand? By how much? See, the brain, Madi, is a contrast machine. It wants to know before and after. Do you know what I mean? So here's where I am today. You're saying you're going to help me expand, and I want to know, here's the after. By how much? By how much? And what you can do is use maybe averages. If you've worked with, let's say, 20, 30 companies on average, and you help them, let's say, increase their traffic to their website by 30, 40%, that's the number you state. Get the idea? So I love what you're saying, but again, add more to it. It needs more depth. It needs something more tangible. Like if somebody says, I can help you grow. How much? A lot. How much is a lot? A whole lot. And we can do it fast. How fast? Real fast. You're not telling me anything. That's not an attention grabber, Those are what are called qualifying statements. You want quantifiable statements, 30%, 50%. Put a dollar value. We help companies on average save $300 per transactions every month. If you multiply the number of transactions, that means this much. And it's like, wow, that's a lot of money. Who is this guy? Who is this gal? Get the idea? You got to make it quantifiable. The next thing is you want to get the request. Now remember, this is all voicemail, so I want the request, right? And the request is, I want to set up a meeting. Now again, let's walk through it slowly. We greeted them. We established credibility. We understand their industry, right? We also, again, we built that what? The reason for calling, right? Here's why I'm calling. Then step number 4 was the attention grabber. Again, what can I do for you? Well, now if I have your attention, if I built that rapport quickly, you kind of know who I am. I was referred by somebody else. I understand your business, and I show you how I can help you. That's the attention grabber. Then the request comes in, and that is I either want you to call me back, right? Or I'm going to call you again, whatever the case may be, but we want people to call us back. And whether it's via phone, via Skype, via video conference, or me coming in to meet with you, let's go ahead and set up that time. So you got to have your request down, okay? And then the last part, and I think this is where you really need to shine. Everybody pretty much stops right here. They ask for a request. Please get back to me at da, 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 da. And that's good. But towards the end, I want you to do one more thing. and this is part of the program that I teach, I want you to give them a guarantee, some type of assurance, some type of minimum of value, right? So in other words, at the least, by meeting with me, here's what you're going to get, okay? That's the minimum they're going to get. In other words, even if you don't buy from me, the minimum you'll get out of this is X. And I'll give you a couple of examples. So let's go through the structure of a perfect voicemail again. Greet, hi, first name. 2, credibility. I work with companies in the blank industry, which is your industry, established credibility, right? 3rd, reason. Here's why I'm calling. Number 4, attention grabber. I help companies do this, or that, whatever it may be. What is that attention grabber? Request. I want you to call me back. I want to come in and see you. I want to set up a meeting. How do we do that? And then you come over the top with the minimum guarantee. Mr. Customer, at a minimum, Bill, by meeting with me, here's what you're at least going to get out of the conversation. And that could be, I'm going to show you some case studies. I'm going to give you some information maybe you don't have, and I'll leave that information with you, or I'm going to share with you what your competitors are doing. So at the minimum, what you're going to have by the time we finish our meeting is a better understanding of what's happening in the market and also what your competitors are doing. And with this information, you'll be able to ask better questions. That's the minimum. So please call me, Get the idea? And when you structure that, it's very powerful. Now, that's just the structure. Let's move over real quick. Basic tips. And again, I want to keep this conversation short. Don't want to make this too long. By the way, Chevy put my book on. It will be available. Again, we're hoping still January. That's the book, Sales Ex Machina. And again, it's a great book, and I think it's going to be excellent. Well, I know it's going to be excellent. I think I like it. All right, the perfect voicemail. Here's some tips, quick tips, because I want to give you value. Message length. Work with me on this. 15 to 30 seconds. 15 to 30 seconds. Write that down. So you should time yourself. Get your cell phone, hit the timer, time yourself when you leave it on there, okay? Boom, time yourself. Okay? And again, don't start with, hey, this is Victor Antonio with da-da-da. They don't care. It's not about you. It's about them. You start with them and their first name. Another thing, minimize the jargon. Sometimes people start using technical talk. And again, if you know the other person is going to understand the technical talk, go ahead and use the jargon. But if they don't, then don't use phrases that they're not going to understand. It makes no sense. And again, clear and concise message. So when you're doing this structure, here's the structure I just gave you, right? For the perfect voicemail. When you're doing that structure, you're going to keep tightening, polishing that voicemail till it just comes out like really natural. By the way, what's really funny about this is once you do this, it becomes so natural. You begin to just talking like that, being able to talk to people. When you go to a network event, it's almost the same thing. You can use the same structure in networking events. You can use the same structure when you go to a trade show. So this has many applications. Let me see. Again, rework it. Tighten it up, always be business casual. I think that's a good way of thinking about voicemails. Don't be so formal, but don't be so casual. Be business casual, okay? Now, one of the things that you'll get with the voicemail, the perfect voicemail, the series, again, at the Sales Mastery Academy, is I'm going to let you download all the scripts. So I came up with 25 different scripts. Different topics for different industries. And again, you're going to be able to use them and create your own. So the first one I'm going to share here is this one I call the, and by the way, you'll get a copy of this as well when you download. This is called the trend sharing script, right? And notice there's a little clock right there, the timer. This is a 30-second script. Yes, I timed them. And again, I want you to do the same thing. And so this one says, for example, hi, Bill. I'm just going to read this one. Trend sharing script. Let me read this one out. It says, hi, Bill. I work with companies in the blank industry, the telecom industry, and I know you face the issue of A, this is your first issue, B, this issue, okay? The reason I'm calling, you don't say that. You say, I'd like to share with you 5 trends. Remember, that's what's in it for them. 5 trends that are going to impact your industry over the next 12 to 18 months. I'm going to share with you trends, 5 trends that are going to impact your industry over the next 12 to 18 months. Now stop right there. That's an attention grabber because you're like, what trends? What's going to transform the industry? Maybe I want to listen to this person. You see, again, there's different ways of creating, voicemail drama that gets the person to go, maybe I need to call this guy back. Maybe I need to call this gal back, right? And again, you shift into, give me 5 minutes of your time and I'll give you 5 trends that are going to impact your business. And then get them to call you back. This is Victor Antonio. Please call me. Here's my number, 678-895, right? That's Victor Antonio. By the way, I always repeat my name twice. And when I repeat the telephone number the second time, I go very slow, 678-895-6068. That's again, Victor Antonio at 678-895-6068. Because you know what happens, the first time they don't have the pen in their hand, so they're not going to write anything down. Now, what's interesting about this is, let me see, this is a second script I developed called Decisions You'll Have to Make. This is a good one. Decisions you'll have to make, right? And this one is like, again, this one's 30 seconds. It says, hi, Bill, for anyone in the blank industry, again, I'm calling somebody in the blank industry, there are 3 decisions you're going to have to make in the next 6 months. What decisions do I have to make in the next 6 months? Again, what you're trying to do is sound different. Don't sound like everybody else. Don't sound like, hey, this is Victor Antonio, We help companies like you grow your business. Would love to connect with you. Please call me back, blah, 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 blah. Nobody's going to call back. Nobody's going to call back unless they're compelled to call back. You need to have a compelling reasons for them to call back, okay? So this one says, again, there are 3 decisions you're going to have to make in the next 6 months. Now that is voicemail drama. Maybe I should have called it voicemail drama. Anyway, I continue. I'm only joking. I keep saying, we have a viewpoint that we'd like to share with you. And whether you decide to do business with us or not, notice I'm cool. Whether you decide to do business with us or not, you're going to have the information you need to ask better questions of the people you're doing business with. What do you look like on Thursday for a 20-minute meet and greet? I'm going to bring a bunch of slides. You can say 5, 10, 15 slides. And then you know what? I'm going to leave them with you. So that's the minimum guarantee. In other words, I'm going to leave some content with you when I leave. So again, Tuesday or Thursday, 6 p.m. or whatever time it is, what can we do? And again, wrap it up that way. The point I want to emphasize with this script is I'm leaving something. I'm going to leave them some slides. I may leave them a report. I may leave them an analysis. I may leave them a case study. I may leave them information about their competitors. In other words, what are you leaving them? I want you to think about this for a moment right now. When you meet with a customer, right, what do you leave? What's your leave behind? Go ahead and type that in. What is your leave behind? In other words, what do you leave them? Because I think this is important because, look, once you walk out of that door, within 24 hours, they'll forget 75% of the information you gave them. Listen to what I just said. This is part of an Ebbinghaus curve, retention. People will forget 75% of what you said within 24 hours. So what does that mean? That once you leave, they're going to forget a lot of information within 24 hours. So what is your leave behind? That's a big tip. What do you leave in front of them? Is it a one-page summary of all your features and benefits or what your product offer? Is it a case study? Is it some type of analysis? Is it some slides? Is it some data? What do you leave behind so when it's there and they come back after walking you out the door, they're going to come back into their office and they're going to say, hey, this is the information he left behind. But here's also the powerful thing. When I leave behind something, whether it's this or something else, I also leave 2 or 3 copies. Right? Just leave 2 or 3 copies. Why? Because you want them to hand them out to people, right? So again, what is your leave behind? Put some comments. Again, tell me what you leave behind when you talk to somebody. Again, on the let's get back to the voicemail. When you're on the voicemail, let them know what the leave behind is. Let them know what the minimum guarantee is. In other words, what is the minimum you're going to get from our conversation? What is the minimum benefit you're going to get? Because I can calculate that in my head. If I know that the minimum I'm going to get is X, then I go, is it worth my time? And the answer is, I think it is worth my time. I'd like to hear another perspective. I want to hear about trends. I want to hear about decisions I need to make in the next 12 to 16 months, right? I want to hear this stuff. So, and then when somebody says, I'm going to leave this behind, I'm like, maybe I want that. So again, it's a way of getting them to call back. Last but not least, and again, these are just a couple of scripts. Here's a big tip. Because you've hung around this long listening to me, here's a big tip. Listen carefully. This is big. A lot of times when you get somebody on the phone, this is not voicemail. I'm transitioning here to something real quick because I want to leave this tidbit with you. When somebody tells you to send them the information, do not send them the information. Not unless several things are happening. One, when somebody says, Victor, send me the information, I always say something like, look, be more than happy to send you the information, but I know what typically happens. A, you probably won't have time to read it. B, if you do review it, you probably have some questions. So why don't we do this? Why don't I get on the phone right now or on my computer to do a video conferencing and let me walk you through it doing a video conferencing? Or here, I'm going to send you the information right now via email, open it up in front of me, and let's go ahead and have a conversation about what's in that proposal or that presentation, and let me walk you through it. What am I doing? I'm not just giving it to them. I'm saying, hey, we're going to talk about this, because I'm not, look, if you give them the presentation, if you give them the slides, if you give the information, if you give them the use case studies, they may or may not look at that. There's no way of knowing that. So what you need to do is say, no, we're going to talk about this over the phone. That's the only way you're getting it. Because again, what typically happens is you send the information, they don't look at it. And even if they decide to look at it later, they can't find it, right? So again, don't send it out. So anyway, these are some small tips. And again, the program is called The Perfect Voicemail, and it's at salesmasteryacademy.us. So every month I add a new program on the site. So again, this month I have a real cool one coming up. It's all about presentations. How do you structure a presentation, whether it's one-on-one or one to a group, B2B or B2C, doesn't matter. How do you structure a presentation where within the first 10 to 15 minutes, you grab them by the scruff of the neck, man, and you grab their attention so they'll listen to your pitch? For example, let's say, here's the perfect voicemail, right? Then you set up the call. Once you set up the call, they say, come on in, do the presentation. And if you're like many people, you probably do your standard presentation. I'm going to show you that presentations have changed, and if you don't change with it, they're not going to listen. And I'm going to show you, that's a new program we got coming up later on in January, and it's going to be a great program. I haven't settled on the title yet, but it's going to be about presentation. So again, I want you to join my salesmasteryacademy.us. There you'll get all 25 scripts for the perfect voicemail, just like we talked about here. You'll be able to download the scripts. You'll be able to edit them. And then I'm going to show you how to structure this so you know how to send them out, when to send them out, and in what sequence to send them out. And how many should you send out? I answer all these questions in my course at the salesmasteryacademy.us. So anyway, let me see if we have any additional questions here. The VM scripts can be found on your site, correct? Ivan says. The answer is yes and no. They could be found within the Sales Mastery Academy. That's the only place. So you're going to have to sign up to actually have access to them. And again, you're going to be able to download that and edit them at will. Also, yes, everything is on the site. Great stuff. Perfect. Once you're in the academy. And Chevy, thank you for posting that. I appreciate you guys. Well, anyway, that's it. I tried to make it quick and sweet. You guys are awesome. Have a great weekend. I don't know, make it happen. Oh, by the way, remember, selling ain't hard when you know how. Take care.